Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Today's story is an absolute masterpiece in corporate karma. 3 factory owners were pointing fingers at each other when thousands of dollars of inventory started going missing. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. 3 owners, 3 cameras, and 1 perfect trap. My uncle, now long retired, told me this story years ago. It happened somewhere between 2005 and 2010, back when he was working for a security company that handled everything from factory guards to perimeter alarms and surveillance systems. He wasn't just a guard, he was the senior night shift manager, which meant he not only oversaw teams of guards, but also supervised the installation of security equipment for important clients. If a factory was having a rash of thefts, he was the guy they called in to figure out where the leaks were and plug them. One day, he gets called to a large factory that had been experiencing significant theft. This wasn't petty stuff. We're talking thousands of dollars worth of inventory walking out the door. When he arrived, the first thing he did was interview the 3 owners of the company. Each one of them owned roughly a third of the business, and according to my uncle, it was painfully obvious that the camaraderie that might have existed when they first went into business together was long gone. Each one was eager to point fingers. Owner 1 told him it's definitely an inside job, probably one of the other 2 owners or someone loyal to them. Owner 2 said nearly the same thing, just the name switched around, and Owner 3, you guessed it, he blamed the other 2. But one thing they all agreed on was that they wanted to catch the thieves quickly, and they wanted to do it as cheaply as possible. We don't want some Hollywood-style surveillance setup, one of them said, just enough cameras to do the job. My uncle warned them that if they went cheap, there might be some blind spots they wouldn't be able to cover. All 3 owners said that was fine as long as they knew where the cameras were so they could avoid wasting money on unnecessary areas. And this is where my uncle decided to have a little fun. He'd always told me that one thing he learned working security was that Dr. House was right. Everybody lies. So he devised a plan that was equal parts clever and slightly malicious. Instead of installing just 2 cameras, the bare minimum for what they were willing to pay for, he budgeted for 2, then quietly installed 3. Together, the 3 cameras covered the entire factory floor. Then he told each owner the location of 2 cameras, but not the 3rd. Owner 1 was told about cameras 1 and 2, but not 3. Owner 2 was told about cameras 1 and 3, but not 2. Owner 3 was told about cameras 2 and 3, but not 1. Each owner also asked about blind spots, which my uncle happily pointed out based on the 2 cameras they thought existed. In reality, every one of those so-called blind spots was covered perfectly by the 3rd camera that particular owner didn't know about. Then he waited, and it didn't take long. Within the first week, each of the 3 owners was caught on video sneaking into the factory during off hours, heading straight for their blind spot and helping themselves to company inventory. One loaded up expensive parts into the back of his truck, another was caught stuffing boxes into his personal vehicle, the 3rd was seen wheeling out finished products like he was doing some kind of late-night shopping spree. All 3 of them. When my uncle turned over the footage, he said it caused an absolute meltdown among the owners. None of them could deny it. They'd been caught on their secure cameras and their supposed blind spots. As far as my uncle knows, the factory changed ownership not long after that. The security contract stayed in place, though, and his company continued providing services for the new owners, who, according to him, were much easier to work with. He never heard what happened to the 3 original owners, but he always suspected it wasn't anything good. And honestly, after what they were doing to their own company, they probably had it coming. An excellent bit of work. Columbo would be proud of such a gotcha. The key giveaway being that they wanted to know the blind spots, how to get around the system they're paying for so they can then blame Uncle when the thefts don't stop. And our second story. When a doctor tries to boss around the wrong nurse. I'm a male RN. This happened pre-COVID, and I just remembered today. Background. All hospital staff uses the back entrance to the main building. We clock in, grab our scrubs, and change in the locker room. After changing, we scatter all through the hospital and manning our wards. We have a color code for scrubs. Surgical staff equals green, Emergency room intensive care unit equals dark blue. Bedside nurses equal white. Facility management staff, garbage dudes, cleaning ladies, janitors equal dark gray scrubs or overalls. Since I finished nursing school, I work at the front line, the emergency room, the no man's land in front of the trenches. This particular morning, I clocked in for my morning shift at 5:15 a.m., changed, had a chat with a buddy from nursing school in the locker room, and went on my way. The ER is in a separate building. In the main building is nearly everything, but the ER is a separate building, and in another separate building are some doctor's offices. So to reach the ER, I took a shortcut through the pediatric ward. I stopped to look at my cell phone, and then Dr. Karen noticed me. Dr. Karen wasn't a typical Karen. She was a relatively young, a new intern from med school, but had the whole better-than-you attitude. Dr. Karen, DK, excuse me? Me, huh? Confused. DK, where are my lab results? Me, what lab results? DK scoffs, oh my God, I told charge nurse of the pediatric ward to get the blood work of some kid. She said an orderly will bring it to me, but the orderlies around here are even stupider than the nurses. Me, listen here, I'm not an orderly, and I'm not working in the pediatric ward nor the labs. I'm one of the stupid nurses. I detached my ID card from my scrubs and shoved it in her face, and the following is written on my ID card. Registered nurse, OP, emergency room, DK, gets pale like a freaking ghost, mumbled a half-butted, I'm so sorry, and left the hallway. I just shook my head and went on with my day. That doc is in for a very rude awakening if they believe that nurses, or anyone who works in a healthcare setting for that matter, is going to accept an attitude like that. And our next story. Prison Karen tried to claim our parking spot. You'd think after 6 years of peacefully parking in the same damn spot, life would continue without drama, but then Prison Karen moved in. And no, that's not some catchy nickname we cooked up to be funny. This woman literally did time. How long? For what? Who knows? But apparently she emerged from her prison stint with a newfound purpose in life to wage war over a public parking lot like it was her personal turf, ordained by some cosmic prison decree. It didn't matter that the parking lot had no assigned spots. In her mind, one space, our space, belonged exclusively to her. The first real clash came on a random Tuesday. She reversed straight into our neighbor's parked car and, with all the audacity in the world, tried to blame us. If your car wasn't there, I wouldn't have hit it, she shrieked from the middle of the lot, arms flailing like some deranged traffic cop. I couldn't help myself. Maybe if you learned how to reverse without using the force, you wouldn't be hitting parked cars, Karen. From that moment on, it was all-out war. She started small, petty nonsense like removing tire valves and tossing them into the street. You'd wake up, ready to head to work, and there your car sat, tires flat as Kansas, and without those valves, it wasn't just a quick air pump fix. Nope, full replacements every time. But Karen didn't stop there. Oh no, she escalated. Clean, deliberate slashes right across the sidewalls of our tires. 4 brand new sets ruined in less than 6 months. Every time we filed a police report, the response was the same. Sorry, without evidence. Fine. If it's evidence they wanted, it's evidence they were going to get. Enter Operation Gotcha, our personal parking lot sting operation. We found some used, beat-up tires that wouldn't break our hearts to lose, parked in our usual spot, and this time we had the cameras rolling. Motion detection, night vision mode, the works. It didn't take long. Just past midnight, there she was, Prison Karen herself. Hoodie pulled up like she was starring in a low-budget crime drama. She crouched down, pulled out a blade, and went to work with the confidence of someone who'd done this way too many times before. Slash, slash. 2 tires done before she stood up, flashed a smug little smirk, and strutted back to her apartment like she'd just won a championship title. But this time we had the footage. The next morning, we marched that glorious video down to the police station, showed them every second of it, added in the receipts from every tire replacement, and even included a signed statement from our mechanic confirming that the damage was deliberate. And here's where karma did its best work. Turns out Karen was still on probation. This wasn't some slap-on-the-wrist vandalism charge. This was a direct violation of her probation terms. The day they came to cuff her and haul her out of the complex was a day of celebration. True to form, she didn't go quietly. She made sure the entire neighborhood heard her dramatic exit. The system's rigged. You're all liars. I'll be back, she screamed like she was auditioning for the lead role in Karen Judgment Day. Spoiler alert, she's not coming back anytime soon. We reclaimed our parking spot, our tires remain blissfully intact, and for the first time in months, the parking lot is just that, a parking lot. Quiet, uneventful, and gloriously boring. Sometimes all karma really needs is a camera, a little patience, and a good old-fashioned probation violation. What I love is the arc. She escalates from petty to felony in record time, convinced nobody will ever connect the dots. While you're literally installing a low-budget CSI set outside the window. And the payoff couldn't be cleaner. Video evidence, receipts, mechanic statement, probation officer on speed dial, snap, cuffs, bye-bye, Karen. And our last story. How I protected my land from greedy neighbors. When I bought my property, I knew exactly what I was getting into. 10 acres, a private road, and a locked gate that keeps random traffic and hunters out. My neighbors, let's call them Todd and Lisa, owned the adjoining parcel. A few months ago, they decided to sell part of their land to a developer. That was their business, until I found out how they sold it, in a way that left them landlocked. Apparently, Todd and Lisa assumed that I'd just let them use my road and gate forever, despite the fact that it's on my deed as a private road that I maintain. No easement exists for them, and I've been advised that granting access even once could set a legal precedent that bites me later. I wasn't about to give up my road without a fight. I called my lawyer, explained the situation, and we came up with a plan. Keep the gate locked, document everything, and do not, under any circumstances, let them through even once. Yesterday, around noon, the new owners of the land Todd and Lisa sold finished fencing in their property. I watched from my porch as they installed the last posts. By fencing it, they effectively removed the only shortcut Todd and Lisa had been using to get around the long way through someone else's field. Around 3 p.m., Todd and Lisa rolled up to my gate and started ringing the call box like they were summoning me for dinner. I ignored it. After about 5 minutes, Todd got out of the car and walked around to the backside of my property where I haven't installed fencing yet. Next thing I know, he's on my porch pounding on my door. "Open the gate," Todd said, red-faced and sweating. "Lisa can't sit out there all day. We need to get home." I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. "Todd, I'm not opening the gate. You have no easement across my property. You need to find another way to your land." He crossed his arms and said flatly, "I'm not leaving until you open it." "Then I'll call the sheriff and report you for trespassing," I replied. He glared at me, turned on his heel, and walked back to the car. I thought that would be the end of it, but they started ringing the gate again. This time I saw a patrol car pull up. My stomach sank. Todd had called the police. I walked to the gate, already on the phone with my lawyer. The officer greeted me politely enough. "Sir, your neighbors say they can't access their property. Can you just let them through for today until this is figured out?" "No," I said bluntly. "This is my road. There's no easement. I'm not granting access." The officer sighed. "Legally, they do have the right to access their property. If there's no other way, you might have to—" I handed him the phone. My lawyer would like a word. The conversation between them was short. The officer handed the phone back and shrugged. "You're right. I can't force you to let them through. I'd encourage you to work this out with them civilly, but I can't make you open the gate." Todd was furious when he heard this. He left the car parked directly in front of my gate, blocking my own entry and exit, and he and Lisa walked across the unfenced portion of my land to get to their house. That was the last straw. I called my lawyer again and filed a trespass report first thing this morning. We now had documentation that they'd crossed my land without permission. I figured things would cool off. Nope. That evening, the county sheriff himself knocked on my door. He didn't waste time on pleasantries. From this point forward, he said, "You will allow your neighbors to access their property via your road. Do not lock them out. Do not lock them in. I better not get another call about this." Then he walked away without so much as letting me respond. I immediately called my lawyer again. He was furious. "The sheriff has no authority to grant them access," he told me. "This isn't a public road. We're filing for a temporary restraining order first thing tomorrow morning." And we did. By Thursday afternoon, a judge had signed an emergency order. Todd and Lisa were forbidden from entering my property by any means, including the unfenced portion, until the court could hear the case for an easement. When Todd tried to bring his truck through Friday morning, he was met by a deputy serving him the order in person. The look on his face, I'm told, was priceless. Last week, the judge ruled in our favor entirely. because Todd and Lisa created their own landlocked situation by selling off their frontage without securing a legal easement first. They were denied a prescriptive easement through my property. Their only option now is to negotiate a paid easement with the other neighboring landowner, the one whose property they used to shortcut through, or build a road of their own. Oh, and because they parked on my gate, trespassed across my yard, and chopped up part of my gravel drive trying to turn their car around, they were hit with a $7,500 judgment for damages and legal fees. My gate stays locked, my road stays private, and Todd and Lisa have to park on the main road and hike across their own property until they figure out how to build themselves a real driveway. And yes, the fence on the unfenced side is being installed this weekend. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.